Thank you so much, Maria. Good afternoon. Yeah, so as you have heard, my name is Elizabeth Juma. I'm a chief magistrate. Currently, I'm sitting at Milimani, the anti-corruption court. I am going to pick the tempo from where Christine and Helen left. So I'm going to talk about the prosecution of cases in trafficking, Milimani perspective. And I'm going to give you 3 case scenarios. So I will not belabor on the introduction. It has actually been touched by the other presenters, this training. So human trafficking in Kenya presents itself in various forms, such as child labor, domestic labor, street begging, child sexual exploitation, prostitution, and servitude, among others. So depending on the place where you are in Kenya, it will present itself in various forms. Let's say like at the coastal region, it will be slightly different, where you get children being trafficked for sexual exploitation. We also have those summer brides, where young girls are married by people who come for holiday, and somehow maybe they traffic these girls away for love. They leave the country. And also child trafficking for domestic and servitude. This is manifested basically in big cities, where young children, especially from rural areas, come to look for good life in the city, maybe education, and they are forced to work. The forced labors could be in places like supermarket, restaurants. Some could even be begging in the streets, and they're vulnerable to sexual exploitation and forced marriage. So basically, it is deception of a well-paying job and free education. And also we have cases where our young youths, especially, are lured by employment bureaus to seek for employment out of the country, such as the Middle East, where they end up being trafficked or they end up dying. So I just wanted to share with you a particular case. This is criminal appeal number 97 of 2001. Sorry, there's a 0 there. It's a case involving a lady called Mary Dyer. She was convicted of a child stealing. The lady alleged to have given birth to a child on the way to the hospital. When she was tested, the doctor said the womb was closed. I think the doctors in the room will understand. And that the blood stain that was in her underwears was not from her DNA, and there was no evidence of childbirth. So the case went to court, and when DNA samples were taken from her and the baby, they were found to be incompatible. So she was convicted and sentenced to 8 years imprisonment. It was a cover-up of miracle babies, where advanced and postmenopausal women alleged to give birth to children, where pregnancy gestation was even up for a period of 3 months. It was a mockery to medicine, but it was said to be a miracle. But for example, this lady called Odera was a sister-in-law to Mary. She was 56 years old, but gave birth to 11 babies between 1999 and 2004. The doctors were baffled. We do not know the parentage of those children. They were recovered in homes into estates. It's believed that some of the parents to those children were perhaps told the children died at childbirth, and it's difficult to know. By the time the case ended, the children were housed in children's homes, and they were being taken care of there. So in that case, there were multiple births, and the DNA of the babies did not match the alleged mothers. She filed an appeal. The appeal was dismissed, and a conviction by the magistrate court upheld. So she served the sentence. I also want to share the case of her husband, Mr. Gilbert Dyer. This one I will not share it full because the case is ongoing. So this was in the year 04, when there was this human trafficking scandal in Kenya, where that Kenyan-born evangelist pastor who is based in London, purported to inspire miraculous conception among infertile and postmenopausal women through prayer. So what was the scandal is that all the miracle babies, including those miracle conception in the UK, all the women went to give birth in Kenya. So we believe that the babies were being procured from hospitals and being trafficked. So all their, yes, I've said they were being given, they didn't have hospitals in Britain to give birth to those miraculous conception. Even one such a case where they had a video coverage of the birthing of one woman, the doctor said they only saw the woman in labor and then a child appeared. They did not witness the actual birthing. So what happened for Gilbert Dyer, he got a stay in a court in London against extradition. However, he was extradited last year, that is 2018. He is facing charges of child trafficking. The case is still pending in court, so we will await the examination of that case. I also want to share another case which I handled. This is Republic versus Bilo Barry. Bilo Barry is an elderly lady. She was intercepted at JKIA as she was leaving the country for her country of origin. She was from the country of Nigeria. Upon being searched, she was found to have narcotic drugs, and she was carrying an infant, a baby. On being investigated, she was found that she had come to the country a few weeks earlier alone, but now she was going back with a 6-month-old baby. She was charged with the offense of trafficking in narcotics, and she alleged that the mother of the child is her daughter, so she called that little girl her grandchild. So when the court was going on, the child was in custody, we advised her to ask for the daughter to come to Kenya, have DNA taken so that the child can be released. Throughout the trial, she kept on alleging that the daughter will come, but she eventually did not come. At conviction, she still maintained that the child is her granddaughter. We made orders that the child still has to undergo the DNA before being released to that family. So she was convicted for the trafficking in narcotics. However, I have shared that case with the police, I've shared with the UNODC, because we believe that perhaps that child was trafficked. Her parentage is still not known. The baby is currently at a children's home in Lemur. It's called Nest Children's Home. But in this case, you realize that there was this evidence of possible child trafficking, but she was only charged with trafficking in narcotics. So Casina shared this. These are the national laws that protect against trafficking, that's the Constitution, the Children's Act. But you realize that most cases, including this direct case, where a lady comes to the country with no baby seen living in the country, the charges were not preferred against her in the Counter Trafficking and Humans Act of 2010. So basically, those are the acts, the national legislations. Christine talked about it, and my colleague Helen talked about them. And what I'm saying, that majority of the suspects are charged under different legislative provisions. Basically, having sat in the magistrate for quite a while, I find human trafficking cases are difficult to prove. I have handled about 10 cases under the trafficking of persons, and in all of them I have acquitted for lack of evidence. And the main culprits are rarely arrested, and sometimes the victims are criminalized, in that the victims who are being trafficked are now charged under the Immigration Act for being in the country illegally. Equally, victims are reluctant to testify against the perpetrators, and we will require cooperation among all the actors to combat the trafficking in persons. Gracias.